How would you like to learn the secrets of two Karma Club Award winners and how they have built successful online businesses from almost nowhere to now running multiple 7 and 8-figure businesses by following the simple fundamentals of life? And let's see how they have used the powerful funnel systems, processes, automation, and social media to help their business grow at a different pace. Let's dive into their journey to grasp the strategy, mindset, action plan of how they have done it from almost nowhere to the way up to 7 figures. We are going to uncover and pick their brains of the top performing entrepreneurs on this show. How they have done it and how you can do it too. You are listening to the Nikhil Sai, the host, and welcome to the Nikhil Sai show. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Nikhil Sai show. So this is me, the Nikhil Sai, talking on the screen right now, and guess what going on today? We are back with another amazing two Karma Club guys interview, and guess who is on this show today? We got an industry expert who is helping coaches, consultants, and thought leaders, entrepreneurs to build real impact and scale their business dramatically by building real tribes. Crazy story. You're gonna love this podcast for sure. Just make sure to stick around. He went from almost zero clients to over 1,000 clients without spending a dime on ads. He's been into over 200 media outlets and a lot of non-profit stuff as well. So let's not waste any time and welcome Mark Bowness, CEO at markbowness.com.au. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how are you? Great to be here, buddy.
Absolutely, brother. My pleasure to have you on our podcast show today. We are super excited for this specific podcast because we love your story, my friend. Like that's going to be the crazy part, Mark. How's the day so far, by the way?
It's going okay. We're in Melbourne. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. We're experiencing
Mm-hmm.
lockdown like many around the world. So, you just got
Yeah.
to get on with it, stay focused, stay positive. And obviously, it presents a great opportunity to hustle hard and to help
Yeah.
people get amazing results online.
Absolutely, Mark. I definitely agree on the point. And just to mention, we don't have any excuses right now. We should be taking forward our lives and just keep on the hustle mode right now because it's tough times and we need to be together and practically be moving forward. And Mark, we would love to hear your story, brother. Can you please start with your backstory? Like how did all this crazy journey started from almost nowhere to now where you're being multiple two Karma Club Award winner, helping around 35,000 coaches, consultants around the world. Would you like to talk about that, please?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I am from the UK originally, now living in Australia. I'm one of 6
Mm-hmm.
children. I was brought up in a Christian environment, and I was actually, I studied theology and religious studies, and I became a church leader, speaking at churches across the UK
Mm-hmm.
and taking young people to Africa and doing some great work. But I got married young. I got married at the age of 22 years old. So by the age of 26 years old, my marriage fell apart. And I will never forget, I turned to Google. I was in a room like this. I had my laptop in front of me. I had empty beer cans around me. And I Googled most quickest and painless way to die because I knew that I'd never see my wife again. And in that instant when my marriage was over, I lost my job. I lost my income. I lost my relationship. I was removed from my position in the church because I was divorced. And so that night I attempted to take my own life. Now, what happened was the next day, I woke up in hospital with this profound realization of how precious life is, that we live life once. And I came up with a crazy idea to lease a 200-acre island in Fiji that had nothing on it whatsoever. And I set up a website and invited people all over the world to become members of this tribe. So online, they decided it was going to be an eco island. So what combination of power, food, electricity, how it would interact with the nearby Fijians. And I launched it, and crazy story, but to cut a long story short, 6 months after I attempted to take my own life, this business was in 200 media outlets all over the world. We did Good Morning America, Today Show, the New York Times, and it was
Wow.
filmed for 18 months and became a 5-part primetime TV show that aired in the UK, America, and Australia. And that was really the beginning of the journey.
Wow, that's awesome, brother. And like it really sounds like a nightmare when we see the dip in your journey. But again, the light is in the end of the tunnel and you made it so far, right? Which is freaking awesome. And again, it's the day one in your journey. That is so exciting right now. Everyone who is watching this podcast right now or listening to this, no excuses, my friends. Like you say, this is happening, that's happening in my life. See what Mark have done. You can do that too, right? It's just about being consistent. That's so awesome, brother. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your story. And one of the craziest thing which I have, like I have a love around your vibe is building a tribe. Why do you think it is so important to build a tribe around a business?
Yeah, great question. So, look, if we have a business, but we don't have an audience, then we don't have buyers, right? So a tribe is important so that we can have a permanent lead generation stream of people coming in and buying our products. It's crazy that most people, they launch, or most entrepreneurs, they launch a business idea, a course, a program, a product, a service. They launch it to the world thinking that, if you build it, they will come, and they don't. So we have to build an audience from scratch that positions us as an authority. And the more that we are positioned as an authority, then it shortcuts the decision-making process in the eyes of our audience. So, for example, last year, I shared a virtual stage with Tony Robbins and had 200 people of Tony Robbins' audience become my clients overnight, because the thinking is, well, if Tony Robbins really respects what Mark does and sees him as an authority, then I must do too, right? So I'm going to buy into his stuff. So the bigger that we grow our audiences, our tribes, then we're further positioned as an authority, which makes leads and sales even easier.
Absolutely, bro. And that's really awesome. Like, you can, once you build a tribe, that's like real following who want to buy stuff from you, who want to get impacted by you, right? Which is freaking awesome. And the way you mentioned leveraging someone else's audience, I think that's definitely a cool idea, to partner up with someone who already has a large audience. And now you can be definitely going in there and start positioning yourself right there. And the main problem,
but they're only going to partner with you. Why did Tony Robbins partner with me? Because I had an audience already.
Yeah.
If you don't have an audience and you say, "Oh, Tony, can I share a stage with you?" He'll say no, right?
No,
so that's why it's important that you build an audience from scratch first.
Absolutely, Tony. And again, that's just a give and back, right? And Tony's a great guy when it comes to, taking that leverage with someone else. And we see he does a great job when he does that, right? And like Mark, you mentioned that beautifully, that people build things first and they just believe that there's someone going to come and buy. That's not true anyway, right? That's awesome, brother. And when it comes to the process of building tribe, I believe 90% of the people never really understand the right way to do it, Mark. Seriously, right? Would you like to mention your strategy of building a real tribe at a larger scale like you did, like building over 35,000 serious entrepreneurs community? That's not an easy job, and you've done it like bread and butter. Would you like to share the exact strategy you've been using?
Yeah, and look, it's not an easy process. It's not just simply do this, this, and this. And I think it's really important that we understand that business isn't easy. We've got to be in it for the long term. But I'll give you an overview. I have 8 tribe builder principles. The biggest mistake that people make, that entrepreneurs make, is that they think that a social media platform is the tribe. So they think that their Facebook likes, their YouTube subscribers, the Instagram followers, that they are the tribe, and they're not. The social media platform is the vehicle for the tribe, not the tribe itself. So the tribe is what I call these 8 tribe builder principles, which starts with an unstoppable dream. I won't go through the whole 8, but the first 3, an unstoppable dream. So the idea that people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. We take people on a journey. My unstoppable dream is to help 100,000 coaches, consultants, and experts to build their tribes at 10,000 people, so that together we can impact 1 billion lives. And so people want to be a part of something greater. And that's so different to simply having a website and telling people to book a call, to buy a product, or to download a lead magnet. So that's the first. Number 2, we've got to really understand our audience's pain point, what I call the hell on earth. So people want to move away from that pain in their life, whatever it is that they're experiencing, whether they were bullied as a kid, whether they were felt overweight, whether they have never been good at making money. And then a really solid tribe speaks to that, what we call the hell on earth, and projects them towards that unstoppable dream. So, for example, with my audience, it's, do you have a passion to change and transform people's lives, but struggle to get your message out there? You've got a tool, a modality, a resource that can help people, but you're struggling to make it happen. That's the pain point. They've got this gift, but nobody's listening. Hey, join our community of like-minded people on this journey together, so that we can build tribes that truly impact the world. So targeting the pain points and moving towards that positive, unstoppable dream. And number 3, creating a roadmap. So again, very quickly, it's it's my passion that, you know, my audience I never see my audience as a sale or no sale, that I take them on a journey. So there's various certificates that we give away for having a tribe of 100, maybe a book, you've launched a podcast, all the way up to this beautiful Wooden Award, which is our tribe of 10,000 award that they get, the Wooden Award, once they've achieved that tribe of 10,000 goal.
Absolutely, Mark. And those three simple, strategies which you mentioned sounds like really amazing. We would love to hear all the 5 in your trainings as well. So if anyone would be interested in it, why don't you check out markbowness.com.au? Like, he has a lot of similar stuff, right? And that's so beautiful. And I love the vibe and the strategy which you just mentioned, right? And I think the exact strategy can help any business owner can come up with the right offer to their audience and attract them and build that real tribe and start monetizing them. And Mark, let's get to the next question. I think this is my personal favorite question. So, like, a lot of people, if you see these Instagram influencers, TikTok influencers, they got millions of people following them, right? But in the end of the day, they don't have that hype, or they don't maintain that hype or have that kind of impact in their business. Like, they make 5 figures or less on an average, right? But the small entrepreneurs or small scale entrepreneurs who have this quality tribe of 100 people, 1,000 people, they make way more, or they impact way more than anyone else, right? So, like, how to maintain that hype and emotion from the audience you build as a tribe?
Yeah, and look, that's a great question, and not to kind of contradict you, but I don't think hype is really what we're looking for. Hype conveys a moment where something is successful and then it's over, right? We all know the hype of the fidget spinners, for example, that came and went. There's always a trend that comes and goes, but what we want to do is create a pipeline of people that love our work, that really, what I call this place of, they get to the place of torchbearer, where they're raving, they're shouting about your work from the rooftop. So in order to achieve that, there's 2 things. One is that unstoppable dream. Now, remember, people want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So creating this vision that people can feel a part of. But the other thing that is just being authentic. At the beginning of this story, of this podcast, I shared with you my story, my experience of attempting to take my own life. And the truth is that the authenticity breeds authenticity, it breeds vulnerability. And when people can feel like, hey, I'm part of this tribe where we're just being authentic, we're genuine, we're real, and we're helping one another along in that journey. Therefore, it's no longer about hype, but it's about depth of relationship. And that's why people will stay, and that's why people will pay.
Absolutely, Mark. And I definitely understand the essence you're talking about. It's not just about like building that excitement at the first moment and then crashing it off the next day, right? It's about really building that genuine connection with your audience, which actually makes you as a torchbearer in their head. And it's going to last forever, right? Even on their deathbed, they'll be like, wow, like that guy helped me, right? And I think that's a super awesome feeling to maintain. Let's get into the next question. Mark, we really see a lot of people have good following. They struggle with especially offer creation and positioning them as an authority. Can you a little bit talk about like how they can create great offers for their existing audience and how they can start positioning themselves to the authority?
Yeah, it's a great question. And really, it's about getting to know your audience. So again, when I first launched my first course, I launched it to the world, the idea of if you build it, they will come. I spent months building it, spending money on it, putting time into it. I launched it and I got no sales. I realized I didn't have an audience. And so what I did is I started with a Facebook group. I started to build a Facebook group. My Facebook group now has 35,000 people from all over the world. But I built this group and I started to understand the needs of my audience. I was giving value to my group. And so when I was giving value to my group, people were reaching out to me one-to-one saying, Mark, can you become my coach? Can I work with you? So then I started to get paid. But I was getting paid to understand the majority of the needs of my audience, because the problems I was helping my clients to solve at a one-to-one basis were the needs that everybody else had, right? So then I was listening to the needs of the audience whilst building a relationship with the audience through the Facebook group, through giving value every day. My goal was to launch my online program, a revised online program, once to hit 3,000 people. That took me 3 months. And I launched an online program based upon the needs that the audience were telling me that they had. And I launched, and within 1 week, I made $100,000 in sales in 7 days. So how do you make a high ticket program? Listen to the needs of your audience and really start to build something that will serve them in direct response to their need.
Absolutely, Mark. And I believe that's right. There is a eight-figure business strategy, right? And if someone genuinely follows that exact strategy, which is understanding the customer needs and what transformation you can deliver them, I think that would be a real game changer for anyone who is, actually following that, Mark. And I thank you so much for the golden nuggets.
It's understanding the need and also building a relationship with the audience. Remember, the audience is key. So the tribe is key, so that then there are people that have that trust in you. So when you launch, they're ready to buy.
Yeah, they're just waiting with their credit card to swipe up, right? When they just look at your offer. And that's the way we are positioning with authority. That's awesome. That's awesome, Mark. So let's get to the next question, brother. So as all of these people are actually building the tribes right now, what do you think is the best sales process to monetize the existing audience? Like in a nutshell, is that a funnel you need? Is that a simple Facebook Live you need with the order page, or a sales process?
So I really believe in experiential lead generation tools right now. So for example, we run a challenge called the Group Launcher Live Challenge, in which we teach people how to launch a Facebook group. Over the course of the days, they will have their Facebook group launched. That then leads into a webinar. And the webinar leads to booking a call. And then the booking a call, we have a sales team that salespeople into our high ticket offer. So again, rather than just a downloadable lead magnet, rather than ebook, rather than something that people it's in their inbox they don't look at, give them an experience that solves two problems. One, it gives them a result. So they actually get an outcome. So with ours, they launch their Facebook group. And secondly, it gives an experience of what it's like to work with you. So they actually have that real life experience. Mark's a good guy. I've got a result with him. So now I want to move forward to buy into his next level product.
Wow, Mark, that's an exciting sales process, by the way, right? And it's really easy, like the way you're milking it, right? Like it's just like you're not even being salesy in any point of the sales process. You're just giving their value and just transforming their lives and believing reciprocity that they'll come back and buy stuff. And it's happening, which is freaking awesome. That's so beautiful, Mark. I believe every business owner who is trying to be salesy, doing some outbound marketing, they should be following this exact strategy right here, right? And they just need to genuinely give value, and it's going to come back to you, which is awesome. And Mark, as you are being the successful entrepreneur, managing these big tribes, running multiple companies, and helping everyone you work with, how do you manage all of this stuff together, brother? Any tools you manage your projects, your clients, and your productivity day to day?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have a global team. So some key, tools that we use. Firstly, the Slack. So Slack is a great communications channel that enables you to keep in touch with your clients or with your team. So I have a second screen. You can't see it, but a screen next to me right here. It has Slack at the front of it. And my team are constantly kind of messaging and engaging. So that's a really important tool. I find WhatsApp a great tool as well, and that's for my clients. So I actually have a WhatsApp group for my clients where they can ask me direct questions. Because they have that direct access to me, let's say we have a high ticket program that could be $15,000. But if they wanted direct access to me, that would be a $20,000 offering. And that means that in the WhatsApp group, they can ask me questions and I'll respond and dive in as well. So that's an app that actually helps me to increase the amount of money coming into my business. Of course, ClickFunnels, you can see the two 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗄 behind me right here. ClickFunnels is a great tool to make sure that you're generating leads. And alongside ClickFunnels, we also use ActiveCampaign to build an email database from ActiveCampaign. So some great processes and tools and software there.
Absolutely. You got a robot marketing system and all the tools required in your business, Mark. That sounds really exciting, and hope this will give our audience a foundation of what tools they require to build their business. And guys, don't complicate it. You don't need 200 different softwares. You don't need to pay 1,000 different subscriptions. As Mark mentioned, you just need the fundamental tools, and it's going to make you a lot of money. And Mark, I wonder to learn more about your daily routine for success. So would you like to talk about your daily routine or the rituals you follow day to day?
Yeah, so there are a few areas and focuses that I have every single day in order to make sure that I'm productive, that I'm healthy, and that I'm happy. So the first is mind. So I think about every single day, one activity that increases the knowledge in my mind, whether it's listening to a podcast, whether it's reading some pages of a book that I'm currently reading, whether it's listening to a training. So how am I expanding my mind? Secondly, how am I expanding my health? So whether it's I have a beautiful house with a pool, so whether I go for a swim, whether I go for a run, whether I go to the gym. So what am I doing in terms of my health is really, really important. And thirdly, what am I doing in terms of me? So just creating some time out for me. And that could be I go for a swim and then go for a walk, but making sure that I actually have time for me. And then finally, friends and family, making sure that every single day I have time with friends and family. And this might sound like a lot to do in your day, but it could be, you know, having a 15-minute lunch break with my partner or having dinner with my partner, but just making sure that all areas of my life are covered and balanced, because if we focus too hard on business, we get overwhelmed, we get exhausted, and then we lose our passion for what it is that we're doing. And suddenly our business is over and we're changing direction.
I 100% agree on that point, Mark, being said, which is awesome. Like we see a lot of entrepreneurs, like 90% of them, they just be in that hustle mode and they sacrifice all of this, you know, beautiful moments in their life. And in the end of the day, that journey isn't enjoyable and they be like, I need to quit, right? But the way you're managing your balance in your business and life, I think that's so beautiful. And the best part is you're making time for yourself, which is like, that's not a lot of people, that's not something which a lot of people do, right? They don't consciously make time for themselves to work on them, and you're doing it, which is awesome. So everyone who's listening to this podcast, definitely make sure to take out some time for yourself and think about what you really want to do purposefully in your life. And Mark, you have this crazy experience of, you know, impacting other people's life over 21 years. Just freaking long time, right? Like that's exactly my age right now. So if you talk about like what will be your number one suggestion to a 20-year-old you or someone who's just getting started right now?
I would say, like, when I attempted to take my own life, I realized something very important. And that truth that I realized is that we live life once. As far as we know, we have one opportunity to live life on planet Earth. And so often we can shortcut our own success, or we can go down the well-worn path because we're fearful and we're afraid. The truth is we live life once, so be ambitious, be creative, strive for your dreams, because even if you strive for your dreams and you don't hit your dreams, you're going to hit far more, you're going to achieve far more than somebody that just sits there and has these goals and hopes and dreams but never takes action on them. I wish when I was younger that I'd taken more risks, because I was so fearful of money and fearful of what if I got it wrong, or, you know, what if it didn't work out. Life's an opportunity for adventure. So allow yourself to take that adventure.
Absolutely, Mark. I think that's a beautiful advice. Like entrepreneurs or have this instinct to hold off things with a really emotional way. They just be like, oh, I got this cash, I need to hold this on. Oh, I got this idea, I just need to hold this on. But that's not true. Like the way you beautifully articulated, like taking the risk-taking capability is what really allows people to grow at a different pace. And that's really amazing. So yeah, so glad that you actually mentioned the right suggestion for us. And let's get into the next question, Mark. So what are your life's biggest achievements so far, and any next bigger goals in your life?
Biggest achievement? Oh, look, I could say, you know, I could say this island in Fiji that became a TV show in 3 countries, and it actually beat Facebook and MySpace at the time to win Best Social Network. But it's not that. That's great, but it's not that. I could talk about the 2 𝗶𝗶𝗄𝗶𝗶𝗄 Awards. I could talk about building a multiple 7-figure business, but my biggest achievement is actually being comfortable and happy with who I am, because I spent so many years trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be, and I was so unhappy. And finally, just whoever I am and whatever I am, embracing that and owning that, that's been the best achievement ever. In terms of what's achievements are to come, look, I've got some great ideas right now that I'm playing around with regards to NFTs. And I see a whole big industry growing there in terms of NFTs and all that kind of stuff. So blockchain technology. So I'm playing around with some ideas that has like another TV show idea as well involved in that. But we'll work hard and we'll aim big and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, Mark. And definitely we're excited to see what kind of outcome you're going to build. I'm sure you'll be creating a bigger impact with your new ideas. We see the charm right there. Absolutely, Mark. Let's get into the next question, brother. What was your biggest mistake so far in life in terms of business, especially?
Gosh, not having the confidence in my own abilities. And because I didn't have the confidence on my own abilities, I built teams around me because I believe that they were better than me, and that I could never be as good as them because I struggled to gain confidence. So, for example, when it came to sales, I hated sales. I hated getting on the phone, and I hired somebody to work with me in sales, and they told me how great they were, and it was evident that they weren't good at sales and they weren't making money. And so they weren't bringing money in for the business. And so I made a decision that I've got to be confident in myself and I've got to master sales. So I focused on just doing the sales calls myself. And I had about 40, 50 calls a week. It was nonstop. I forgot to have a lunch. I forgot all these things. I forgot going out with friends, and I just focused on, it wasn't about making the money. It was about mastering the skill of selling. And it was because of that year that I made my first $1 million through ClickFunnels and was awarded the first 2 Comma Club award. Now that I have the experience of sales, now I have a team of 4 or 5 salespeople, but I know how to train them and coach them because I've actually done it myself now, and I know what works and what doesn't work.
Absolutely, Mark. And we definitely believe that's a great learning right there, because you should be having a good grip on the process which is happening in your company, especially, right? If you are not really aware of this XYZ thing in your business, you can't really assume what's going on, or you can't really judge what's going on and help it optimize. As you already have that experience right now, you can be like, okay, this is not something we want, or this is something we definitely want to achieve. And that's really awesome, brother. So would you like to mention any main inspiration for all of the success you have achieved and any key people involved in the journey?
Well, I mean, key people that have supported me is, I build my family around my work. So my sister's been incredible in terms of helping me to achieve my goals. My partner's been incredible to help me to achieve my goals. Of course, there are people that I look up to in terms of, for example, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey. But what really inspires me and what keeps me going is the fact that I believe that I have this potential, this unstoppable potential, that I can achieve greatness and whatever that means to me. And I know for your audience, they'll be listening and watching, and they've got an idea for a business, but that confidence isn't there. The truth is that you have to believe in yourself. So I'm always inspired to become the best version of myself, to achieve greatness in my life, in my relationships, with my family, with my business, and just be unstoppable in the pursuit of success. And that's what inspires me.
Wow, brother. And that's really impactful. And we really see the purpose driven thoughts behind everything you're talking about. That's awesome, brother. So can you talk about the process, like how you actually hire people, what things you really consider in the process, you grow your team, because like you took a scale at a different level, at a different pace, right? So like, how did you manage that, especially when it comes to hiring people?
Yeah, I think firstly, I had to make sure that I wasn't trying to do everything. And what I mean by that is not just the tasks, but even when I hired people, to make sure that I wasn't kind of hovering over them all the time and gave them space to kind of really flow in their genius. So I am a big believer in building teams. So the first thing that we do is we interview people, but I'm not concerned about their success as to what they have or haven't achieved. I'm really passionate about connecting with people and having people on my team who are authentic, who are genuine, who are congruent, who are just amazingly beautiful people. And I can tell that from a conversation. So we work with, for example, virtual assistants, and we've got about 30 virtual assistants now. Many of them are trained from scratch by us. And they work with our clients to help our clients to become authorities online and to generate leads online. But the biggest thing that we're looking for is just beautiful, authentic people who are passionate about learning. And if people are like that, have that attitude and heart and integrity, then we can help them to achieve their very best.
Absolutely, Mark. And I love the way you articulated it by just looking at the internal personalization, not just looking at the
Mhm.
technical skills, because these technical skills and all of this jazz can be managed and can be learned, but the
That's
internal
right.
things is what really matters. And that's awesome, Mark. Can we let's get into the next question? Like, where can our audience find you mentoring? Like, you're this amazing guy who's pouring golden nuggets and helping people build these big brands and authority and real tribes. Where can our audience find you mentoring, brother?
Yes, we have a Facebook group, which is We Build Tribes. So if you head over to Facebook, search We Build Tribes, and you'll find there's 35,000 people from all over the world. They also have my own podcast, which is the We Build Tribes podcast that goes out twice a week. And then
Wow,
you can find that on iTunes, Spotify, and then, of
awesome.
course, markbowness.com.au. But head to the We Build Tribes Facebook group, and we'll see you there.
Absolutely. I would love to drop your Facebook link in the description of the actual podcast. So just go for it, guys. You will definitely learn a lot of stuff inside the Facebook group, a lot of cool stuff for free. So definitely make sure consider joining it. And Mark, any last word before we conclude the whole podcast session?
Look, I think my last words would just be we live life once. And I know what it was like when I first started. I had these ideas and goals and dreams to build a successful business. But I always thought that, I looked up to my heroes, whether it was Gary Vee or Tony Robbins, and I was thinking, those people are amazing. I could never be like them. It felt like there was a big divide between where I was and where they were. And I just focused on making it happen, hustling hard, in the context of looking after my mind, my body, my health, me and my friends, my family. But we live life once, so chase your dreams. And suddenly, if you focus on chasing your dreams and just go all out, you will become that person that other people look up to and are inspired by because you've achieved greatness in your life. So it's great to connect with your audience. And, if you're listening, if you're watching, just smash it and just to take your life on a crazy big adventure and see what happens.
Absolutely. It's just like, just do it, right? And I love the part which you just mentioned. Like, we believe that we have a clock around running behind us, right? There is a countdown going around. We only live once. And that really turns around. And again, Mark, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity and taking out some time to hop on this podcast. We really loved a lot of stuff which you mentioned here. Our audience got a ton of value. And we definitely appreciate your time. And everyone who's listening to this podcast, make sure to check out markbowness.com.au. And any recommendations, just make sure to do in the comment section, and stay tuned for the next podcast, guys. And thank you so much, Mark. Have a great day. Peace.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Take care.
Peace.